everybody, and welcome to this unusual video. We're going to talk about taxes. Oh, what fun! And I hope you enjoy what I'm going to share with you today. Just a little bit about my YouTube income and a little bit about financial part of it as well. So I bet you're thinking by now, this is the most unusual video I probably have ever done. Me talking about taxes? Boy, that seems quite strange, doesn't it? But you know, everybody is so interested in about my videos where I say YouTube income or living off of YouTube because I don't fit the stereotype. A lot of people know that there are some YouTube channels that make big, large amounts of money and they can live off of it. But you don't hear very often somebody like me who doesn't make very much money at all, but I live off of YouTube. Everybody is so impressed and they're so intrigued because they don't quite understand it. How can a small channel, yes, I have a very small channel, how can I live off of YouTube income? And so I've been sharing with you in a series of different videos about living on the YouTube income. But I'm going to share with you taxes. Why am I going to share with you taxes? Well, that's just a part of my life story here on YouTube. But before I talk to you about the taxes and do I pay them, I'm going to share with you a little bit of a backdrop about my life and some things that you may not even know about me. A lot of you have been watching me for years now and you know my whole life story, but there's so many of you that have come on new to my channel. So I'm going to share with you just a little bit of a backdrop before I was on YouTube. I was raised with Mennonite traditional values, and a lot of those values meant that I was a stay-at-home mom and my husband was the breadwinner. I was a stay-at-home mom and my husband, he was what you would call the bread earner. He would go out and work a job. Now, he was always self-employed, and so we were really blessed in that aspect that almost all of his jobs, only a very few when he was very young, that he worked for someone else. So he was always pretty much self-employed. And I stayed at home and I raised our 3 children. I was married at age 17, and by the age of 19, I had 3 children. And so my life was just around my children. Beginning of my marriage, we lived on a farm, then we sold our farm, and we did various jobs that were self-employed. I want to share this part of my story with you all. Up until YouTube, I have never ever earned 1 cent. I never earned an income. I never had a bank account. I never wrote checks out. I never received checks. I never did so many things that a lot of you take for granted every single day of your life. My husband was the head of our home, and he did all of the finances, and he does the finances to this day. And a lot of women would say, oh, that sounds so depressive or oppressive. But in my circle, in my community, this was the normal. This was what women did. Women didn't worry about the finances. Women didn't have any part in the finances. So this wasn't a restraint on us or some kind of, this wasn't oppression on us whatsoever. This was just how our life was. And so I went all of these years, you know, not knowing what it was like to earn an income. And I have learned so much in the last 2 years beyond this whole YouTube making videos and showing my face on the camera. I've learned so many things behind the scenes. I can never forget the first day that I earned my check and I had to go to the bank and make a bank account. Imagine that at my age, for the first time in her life, at age over 40, making a bank account. I had to then link my bank to my YouTube account and do all of these things. Never before have I ever done them. I remember the first time I got paid from YouTube, I took that money, I think it was $100, and that really wasn't that long ago, looking back. And we went to the grocery store, and we went and bought ourselves some things, and it was just such an amazing feeling. I know a lot of you girls have been making money ever since you were teenagers, even before that. But for me, this was such a new experience. And so my life with the YouTube and knowing what it's like to earn an income has just really blossomed me, and it's such a fun feeling. It's such a rewarding feeling. So that brings us to my taxes and all of that. For 32 years we've had the same accountant, and For 32 years, I was a homemaker. And then when he asked us, has anything changed in this last year? I sat there really smiling. I thought, wow, this is so exciting. Because he always wondered about me staying at home and not working away, because that was really unusual for him. And I said, well, there is some difference. And I showed him my form that I got from YouTube. And he just looked at me. Now, you gotta understand, I didn't make that much money, but it was something that was really exciting for me. And he said, Google, because Google is who pays me. And he said, YouTube? What's that? I have an accountant that's an older gentleman. I explained to him that I make videos and I get paid for making videos. Well, he thought this was the most unique thing he's ever heard of. And of course, I told him my channel name. Imagine that. So I didn't really have any deductions. I didn't know much about, you know, the deductions with YouTube and everything. And so I had to pay taxes. So yes, I do have to pay taxes on my YouTube channel. In fact, I have to pay quite a bit of taxes for the little bit of money that I make. And so that got me into learning more things about how I need to have tax deductions. And if I buy a piece of equipment for my channel, I need to use that for deductions. So all of these things I'm learning. You know, I've gone from the housewife who really didn't know much about finances to all of a sudden having to know about finances and knowing about taxes and knowing about deductions. So yes, on YouTube I do pay taxes, and I do pay quite a bit of taxes considering the amount of money that I do make on it. But this year I'm realizing that there's so many more deductions that I can add to it, and that really helps me out. I've come a long way on YouTube. Like I said, not just sharing my life with all of you on a camera, but all of these things that I have never done before in my whole entire life. There's so much of this world that I never knew about. And that's because of my sheltered life. You know, I look back on it and I really can't complain about my sheltered life, because in all due respect and honesty, it was a good thing I was sheltered. I was sheltered from so much of the outside world, and it really didn't hinder me too much, because I realized in life that we need to always learn and grow. So when I share about my YouTube income, so many people they have so many questions, because I am sharing something that is more taboo. You know, people don't share about it. And I figured, why not? This is a part of my life. This is a big part of my life. I say that I live solely off of YouTube income. That is 100% honest and true. My bills are paid, my electric, and the reason I can do that is, well, just look. Take a look at where I live and what I have. You know, I don't have much in materialistic ways. And I often say about being poor. And I say about being poor only so people can understand and can relate to me. Oh, I'm not poor in spirit. I'm not poor in the blessings that the Lord has given me. I'm not poor by any means, but as far as what the world would see and what the bank statements see and what taxes see, I'm very poor. But you know what? We don't go by what the world sees. We go by what God sees, and we go by how we are. And I am rich in so many things. There's nothing that I need in life. I don't need it. I have food, I have a house, and I have my friends and my loved ones, and that is all a person ever needs. So I hope I answered a few of your questions. I'm going to keep this video up for people in reference, because it is confusing to some people, but they don't understand what it's like to live on very little or to live on nothing at all, and to live abundantly. Oh, get ready, my friends. I'm going to share with you some things about YouTube income and a trailer and all kinds of things. I would be honest with you, if I had a house that had a mortgage, I could not be living off of YouTube income. If I had car payments, I could not be living off of YouTube income. But being debt-free just gives you a lot of freedom that you never would realize until you live a very frugal life. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Hey everyone, here's some other videos I thought you might enjoy. See you tomorrow!